even stop it.
No, that was the crazy part. Yeah.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to The 12. This is a show about the Women's Super League, aka the highest division of women's football in England. We're here to discuss all things WSL, both on and off the field. Each week, we'll be breaking down games, showcasing stars, and highlighting important stories surrounding the game. My name is Deepti, and I'm here with my co-hosts Mark, Tombomb, and Treb, and this week, it's about kumbayaing. Yeah.
Standing in a circle,
Holding hands.
all linking arms.
Linking arms.
The only thing that they haven't done is just sing Kumbaya.
I feel the
Don't forget
racism
the t-shirts.
evaporating already.
The t-shirts, they have matching t-shirts. And yes, if you haven't seen already, this is the new their new way of taking a stand to racism. Is they used to take a knee. We're past the knee now. We're back to standing up for racism instead of kneeling down for racism. And I shouldn't say for, standing up to racism.
I mean,
tomato.
At this point,
and yeah, it kind of actually, I guess, started in England more like during the Euros, you know, when Jess Carter unfortunately was subject to some racial abuse online, and she actually like put out a statement and said like it was so bad that was like one of the first times that she's actually been scared to play, just for how it would like affect her and just some of the threats she was getting. So England stopped taking a knee, and then that has now come into like the Women's Super League. Unfortunately, again, Jessica Naz of Tottenham also has been subject to some racial abuse online. And so they decided that taking the knee no longer feels meaningful. And so instead have changed the like, I don't even know what you would call it, just kind of changing the way that they're showing that they're
changing the performative act.
I was just about to say
performative action. That's the word. Yes.
Actions.
To instead of kneeling, they are now standing, linking arms, standing in a circle around the like at the halfway line. As you can tell, we all feel a certain way about it, and that's just we're kind of fed up with the games and the performative actions. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Who wants to start? I feel like we all have thoughts.
I am still awaiting the headline where one of these clubs says that, you know what, we had this anti-racism speaker come in and speak about racism in the workplace and how it can negatively impact you. And we really want, like, that really opened our eyes. Or a continuing course about taking non-discrimination courses or certifications or what have you. Just, I'm still waiting for that headline. And once we get that, I think that then I will be more comfortable with saying that we're doing the right thing. That's what I would like for UK Black History Month.
Yeah, that is to know is Black History Month in the UK. So if there was any time to do something, it would be now if you couldn't, for some reason, find a way to do it before.
Sorry, so I was just reading the BBC article that you were reading from, Deepti, and I'm just reading the quote from Beth England, where she says, "This is not a tick box. This is people's lives, people's feelings. It needs to change." Next line: "We will wear T-shirts during the warm-up, which carry our message. This is our way of making a stand that this isn't acceptable." and we stand with those who are still being subjected to horrific abuse. Like it just like those two sentences together, I feel like juxtapose one another, right? Because it's like,
Mhm.
what is a T-shirt exactly going to do? And I did, like, I don't want to be overly cynical, right? Like, because I do think there's a fair amount of effort, I guess, being made, but it just feels like it's replacing one ineffective action with another, and also like racism just exists in society, right? So it's not exactly something that can be solved by sports or by athletes, or you know what I mean? So like I don't know. It's in terms of the, the online abuse, for example, I feel like that's a really unfortunate consequence of, public figures just being more accessible. And so it's just so easy for these cowards to like send a message to an account, or email, just somewhere where they know it'll be seen. And so I know, like, in the UK, people have been like arrested and charged for that sort of thing, but it feels like still that's an arduous process to even try to find, culprits behind that. So it's like I think the clubs should certainly do continue to do what they can to keep it out of the grounds, right? Like that's certainly like
Mhm.
their territory that they manage and they can at least control somewhat. But uh in terms of solving racism, like that's I mean, it just starts with education, and it starts with people acknowledging where they stand in society in terms of their privileges, right? um you know their backgrounds and histories compared to other people, and that's really like the root of racism, right? Is this the dominant groups, the supremacist groups. Like, so in this case, obviously we're talking about white majority countries, right? Like, we're obviously all from the US, and we're talking about the football we're talking about is in the UK, in England. And so it has to we as in people of color cannot solve racism because we're not doing it. Like, we're not, it's being done to us. And so the solving has to come from the dominant group. So what are y'all doing?
Nailed it. Bingo.
Bars.
Yeah.
Bars.
I also think it's like interesting. So to go off of that article, and what you sent, Mark, different teams are doing different things. Like some teams are taking a knee, some teams are doing the like link arms in a circle, some like both are taking the knee. It's like now when you're not connected and there's a disconnect between how you are taking a stand and showing your solidarity, then it looks even worse because you're not on the same page. And now, like, for example, in the Brighton Tottenham match, Brighton took a knee, but Spurs didn't. So, like, for people who don't know the actual story or like what's behind the reasoning, it looks weird. It almost looks like this, like Tottenham is like, oh, we don't care, or like Brighton is like, no, I don't know. To me, there was just such a disconnect, and it seems weird that it's not like also a league-wide thing.
Like, if we're gonna do a performative act, let's all do the same performative
They
act.
just didn't have rehearsal. That's probably what it was. They
Ah,
missed, yeah. Someone.
I wish we would not do the performative thing at all. Like, I don't want to take knees. I don't want to wear shirts. I want clubs to take action, right? Like, it was around this time last year that we heard about Bunny Shaw receiving abuse during games. And the one thing that we talked about then was how the manager at the time, Gareth Taylor, was asked about it, and he just kind of like swept it under the rug, kind of, you know, and how none of the teammates that she had who have the platform, who have this privilege, stood up in her defense, right? And like, it was so bad that she had to step away for a couple games. And here we are a year late. Well, during the Euros, we saw Jess Carter deal with it. Now here in this season, we're seeing Nas deal with it, and so it's like I'm waiting for the clubs to actually do something, right? Because like as people of color, as Black people, we're just tired of all of it. Like I don't know, like I can't speak for everyone, but like I'm tired of all of it. I'm tired of the knees. I'm tired of like what should we do? Like I don't want you to think about doing a performative action. I want you to think about what can you do that's tangible that can actually stop this, right? Because like that's the only way it's going. Like because like Mark said, to say that you're going to completely stamp out racism is a little bit laughable, just because it's a world that we would like to live in, but one that we very well know is probably unlikely living in. Like there's always going to be some pockets of racism, but at the same time, like the important part is to not let it gain confidence to the point where they feel like they can spew it out with the consistency and as publicly and as bold as they are, right? Like you have to make these people feel shame. You have to make these people understand that there are consequences to what they're doing. And until clubs start handing out tangible consequences, this kind of thing is always going to happen. It doesn't matter how many t-shirts you wear. It doesn't matter how many arms you lock. It doesn't matter how many knees you take. Like it's always going to happen until people get it through their brain that like when you do this, there's going to be consequences, point blank period. And if that means having to ban people from stadiums for the rest of their life, like you have to do it. If that means because like I think teams are also scared to do that because it's like they don't want to lose the fans or whatever. But at the same time, you can't be, I think, too much in society, and we see it here in America. I think people are too scared to alienate the racists, and that to me is insane. Like, because if you're an organization that claims to be inclusive and claims to want equality and peace for all, like, why are we worried about their feelings? Like, fuck them. Like, plain and simple. Like, fuck them. If they want to act out and they want to do that, like, ban them. They don't deserve to be in civilized places if they're going to act uncivilized. So that's all I want to see. I don't, whether they take a knee, whether they wear a shirt, like I don't really give a shit about any of that. I mean, I would like it to be uniform. I would like all teams to agree on something so that they can at least pretend to care all in unison. But until I see clubs actually start taking tangible action, I'm not going to feel like they really care to the level that I want them to care.
And it's like it has to be a punishment that is severe enough that will deter people from doing it again and like understanding. Because like, yeah, Mark mentioned, some people, even though they're hiding behind some like anonymous account online, maybe some of them might get caught and some of them might get charged with some crime. But what does that even mean? Like, what is their actual punishment? Sometimes it's hard to like actually prove it, or it goes like doesn't even follow through with like fully getting charged or like accused of it. And so uh, I feel like, maybe it's a ban from a single stadium, maybe it's just a fine. It's never like there should be more severe punishments, in my opinion, in terms of like ban from like the sport, period. Like you can't attend any game in the country or like in the league or something.
International or otherwise, you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
You have to watch soccer from your home from now on forever.
Or interact with us on social media. Like,
yeah.
Like to keep like
well, I think, and that's like I think a whole different conversation too, because like Mark said, like I always feel torn when we hear about these like, oh, I got racial abuse, because like with the Bunny incident, it was very different because she was receiving racial abuse from fans inside the stadium, and like that's a very, to me, like that is like someone coming up to your face and doing it, like that needs to be taken care of priority. I think like I always get torn with the social media aspect of it because we live in a day and age, and not saying that it's right, but like we live in the troll era of sports social media where, a lot of these people are like 13, 14. A lot of them are trying to reach for the one thing that they feel like is going to hurt you the most and say that, right? And not to say that they're not racist, but I think a lot of times it's just like I said, it's just they're reaching for the thing that they know can hurt you. Right. So like if you're a trans person, they're going to reach for that kind of level of hate. If you're a Black person, they're going to reach for the N-word and call you a monkey. Like whatever it is, like they're going to reach for that. And so like I think on social media, it's a lot harder to try to stop that, especially which is like a big reason why a lot of us left Twitter, because it's like you have these social sites controlled by people that don't really care enough to not necessarily censor it, but like to cut it out, right? Like you have a lot of these accounts, $3 you can pay to have your comment, at the top of all comments. And like some of these companies are just so concerned with money that they are willing to sacrifice their morals and sacrifice, again, living in a civilized society, and they're just like, as long as we have our money, we don't really care. So like the social one is kind of, I feel like, a whole different conversation. But yeah, like if you see it happening in stadiums, if you hear about it, I just want, like I said, I just want the clubs and the teams to do better, because when Bunny was out there saying it, and to not have the support of her manager, to not have the vocal support of her teammates, like that is shitty.
I mean,
around it, like
if
that
you think about, like, it could be argued that based off of time of events, or you could like draw some inferences that perhaps the reason why Gareth Taylor is no longer the manager of Manchester City is because he did not stand up for that player. That player made it very known, and then the club, realizing the asset that the player is, said, "Ooh, if it's a her you situation."
But even that, like, even imagine
even that took at least a month to play out.
Yeah, but and like even imagine if the club would have said, you know what? Not only with Gareth Taylor not getting results, but we didn't feel like he handled this situation as well as we as a club feel like it should have been handled. That goes a long way, I think, in really affecting change, because then it's like you have a club the size of Manchester City basically saying, like, if you're going to manage our team, you not only have to be a good manager to bring results, but you have to be a good person and know that when these things happen to players, you have to stand up against it, point blank, period, no ifs and buts or writing lines about it. And again, like, they didn't do that. But I think you're right. Like, I think that was a big reason why he's no longer there, because when you make someone like Bunny Shaw unhappy, the club is obviously going to choose the player in that situation, because you don't want to lose a Bunny Shaw. Like, that is your team. So
anything else to say about that? No. Okay. All right, let's move on to the games from the weekend. We're going to cover the league matches from last weekend, and then also the Champions League matches that happened just yesterday, as in Wednesday and Tuesday of this week. To recap prediction game scores, so after match week 4, it was Tom in the lead with 19 points, then me afterwards with 15 points, Mark in third with 14 points, and Treb rounding us out with 13 points. We started with a Friday night game. It was Friday night, right? Man United versus Chelsea. That was a 1-1 draw. And honestly, I should have predicted a draw. I was hoping United would have come through with the win. So I picked United. You 3 picked Chelsea to win. Because it was a draw, none of us get points for this game. But I didn't watch this one, but I saw some of the highlights, and I mean, United still look pretty strong, honestly. It's still, I guess, early enough that they haven't run through their squad, like minimal squad depth. So yeah. Mark, what do you think about your side?
So game started well, right? So first of all, like that, I feel like the starting lineup is always I guess a topic of conversation, right? Who is Sonia going to trust in this scenario? Macario gets to start at the 9, and Captain gets to start at the 10, and she's been playing well. Beaver Jones, I guess, was more on the left in this match. But yeah, and then you have Cuthbert and Walsh in the midfield. More on them in a second, or at least one of those individuals in particular. But it started well, like Chelsea started on the front foot. I think United started kind of strong, but then Chelsea got into the game, and they scored in the 10th minute. Was it, or the 9th minute? Excuse me. Kat stays hooping, like whatever she plays, she does something that reminds
Constant baller.
Like
Yep.
she just does something that reminds you of why uh we consider her a star and why she's going to be so paid in the NWSL. But in the meantime, this feels like a contract year situation playing out. Like she knows she's gonna get that big payday when she's a free agent. But yeah, ball plays into her from Cannerin on the right, um, and like I liked how she boxed out the defender to receive the ball, and then cheeky little back heel to Captain coming in, and it was just like one of the prettiest team goals that Chelsea have scored this season.
Hmm.
And it was just like, okay, this is like the kind of football, especially like against this opponent on the road, like things start off well. But United got back into the game. Uh, Chelsea defending I think it was either a corner or a cross. Kira Walsh heading it to nobody in particular. Um, Ella Toon comes up, wins the second ball, and Anna Sandberg rips it into
Rocket.
the bottom of court. Just a gorgeous shot from a freaking left back. Like I don't I I'm sorry, I don't know who this woman is. I want to be real with you.
Well, it's crazy because she's like, this is her second mention on our show in consecutive weeks, because we mentioned her last week when we talked about United going on the road without their shooting boots,
Yeah.
literally, and she asked her mom to bring her boots to her, like, so she's kind of the 12 legend.
Yeah. But yeah, and even though there weren't any more goals in this match, there were a lot of attempts both ways. Like Chelsea, I would say, had the majority of the looks. Um, they created a lot of chances. Fatmob said they had 2.86 xG, um, 19 shots, 6 on target. Like, and they created some like good goal scoring opportunities. Obviously, like Valentin's Joyce is a big factor as to why Chelsea did not score a second goal. Um, but to be honest, I can't
Okay,
really say.
I gotta stir the pot. So is it Valentellis Joyce is a really good keeper, or Chelsea could not finish worth a damn?
So I'm trying to remember like some of the chances after that.
Because I feel like
I,
she did like make some saves like that were pretty spectacular, but like I feel like every time that Chelsea got a shot, it was like going wide or going over the bar,
mhm.
um, and like in good areas, like in the box, like outside, just like in the half spaces, like they weren't taking advantage of that at all.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Chelsea are having trouble scoring chances that are not clear cut chances, right? So like you were saying, like in the half space or um, like curlers, like that sort of thing. Well, like okay, like the type of goal that Cuthbert scored against West Ham, for example, right? Like it's a good area in the box. Like it still required a good shot, but she was able to bury it, right? Um, yeah, I guess I don't know. Like these, we'll talk about the Champions League match as well because we saw kind of a similar thing play out. But yeah, these last couple matches, like they just haven't quite finished all that well. Like I actually think the football itself hasn't been all that bad. But what does worry me more, I would say, is the chances being allowed. Right now, like Man
Hmm.
United at home, fair enough, right? And they're playing well right now. You expect them to be able to create some chances. Hanahan to have to make a couple saves, and even Bonpastor after the match said that she felt like the draw was, a fair result. So I don't know. I guess like when this one ended, at the moment, I couldn't say I was like overly disappointed because it's one of those where it's like going into every match, like I feel like Chelsea should be able to win. But then, like as the match plays out, it's like, okay, what would you accept in this scenario? And I think by the end, I was like, all right, a point against Man United on the road. They're playing well right now. Fair enough.
Was anyone else like um surprised by how aggressive United was? Like, because in the past, like We've seen United play a Chelsea team and be like, and Skinner be like, we're going to be as defensive as possible. We're going to do the best thing, and like bunker and like still get hit for an early goal, but like still do the same thing throughout the match. Like that last 10 minutes, like the 10 minutes after I felt Chelsea scored, I felt United was in complete control of that 10 minutes. And that was one of the reasons why they did score that goal.
I think, I think I also was thinking of their FA Cup final meeting where Chelsea just completely dominated. But again, that was like at the end of a long season where United has still been strong, but worn out over the course of a season. Whereas here, this is an early meeting, so they're still uh, have pretty fresh legs and like have that fighting mentality. So I wouldn't say I was surprised, especially considering how they've played like literally every game so far this season. Um, I think it's just a matter, like we've talked about, of how long they can sustain that. But no, I'm not super surprised, but I think part of it is, yes, United were more aggressive, but maybe watching Chelsea and seeing the tape from the last few matches, they know they were more vulnerable, so they were like willing to attack a bit more.
I just feel like United aren't scared anymore.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they have the confidence from last season coming into this season where they're just like, we are a top team now, we are good, and we're gonna play our game. Whereas before they were trying to kind of play off other like their opponents' games, and now they're just like, we have a way we want to play. We're gonna play that way, win or lose. I am with Deepthi. I think we have to see how they do balancing the Champions League schedule because, as I mentioned last week, like now it gets real because you're gonna have to lean on your depth. You're gonna have to figure out ways to manage and balance kind of who you want to start for what matches, how you want to approach the Champions League. I think for United, it would be a long shot for them to win Champions League. So I don't think that they're focused on like we have to win it or we're a team that's going to compete for it. But I do think they want to do well and have a good showing. So we'll see how they balance that schedule and how they maintain in the WSL because it's still early. Like we're still really early in the league. And yeah, but I'm impressed with United so far. I definitely think it's time to start taking them seriously.
Yeah, if you haven't been already.
Just two quick notes about this match, one for each team. I was a little surprised and maybe slightly disappointed that Melvin Mallard didn't start. She's been starting most of their matches, and we'll get into the Champions League, but she played well in that match as well. So maybe that's why she didn't start.
Again, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's that balance of who you want to start where and how you want to
Right.
approach it.
But I was a little disappointed. But I mean, she came on and she definitely had an impact. And for Sonia, so going back to the FA Cup final last year, we've seen Chelsea or Sonia kind of favor three at the back. And like, given how well it worked against United the last time, I thought we would get that again. But instead, we got a 4-2-3-1. So I don't know. I feel like Sonia uses this time of season to experiment. Like she kind of did this a lot last season, and she's definitely like using not all of the players, but most of the players at her disposal right now. So, like, fair enough. But yeah, I was just a little bit surprised that she didn't use three at the back again.
I also want to say, like, if you remember when I said last time about like the shape of the ball and how it's made, like we got another screamer this week, and so I'm like, how many? I feel like at the end of the season, or maybe like midway during the winter break or whatever, we need to come up with our top five or something because there have been so many just like rockets or fun goals from pretty far out that, yeah, I feel like the ball has something to do with it, just like the flight path of it. Um, on to the next match, which was City Arsenal, and City won out 3-2. This one was honestly a roller coaster, and kind of a, I don't want to call it a classic, but it was for the neutral. I think it was very fun. For meaning for Mark, it was fun. It's like,
I
although I
mean,
don't
it
know
was
what
fun
you
for
would
me
have.
too. I'm not gonna lie.
Fair, fair, but I
It
mean,
was
like
fun.
it was probably like, but you were probably stressed at some points, right?
Yes, very much so. Very
Yeah.
much.
Mark, I want to ask you first, so just real quick, what was your preferred outcome of this match?
Any form of Arsenal dropping points.
Okay.
Although I will say, looking at the table now, I have a take slash I guess a discussion to bring to Tom, but I'll let y'all get into the match.
um, I'll let you guys handle this one because I'll just put in my stuff as you speak. But yeah, this was one I didn't watch this one fully, but did see the highlights and I
This
just got mad.
this one also this one also
Another
had
week
a
in a row.
screamer.
It did have a screamer. Okay, I'll just say of the 5 goals, one of my favorites was the Arsenal goal, the one that Mariona scored, just because if you just watch her in her run up after, I don't know if she was the one who laid it off to Fox first and it was an overlap. I think it was an overlap from Lotta or someone. But anyway, Fox had the ball and Mariana for so long while she was running was pointing to exactly where she wanted it. And so she could see it. And Fox, like when she looked up, saw her and placed it perfectly right where she wanted it. And it was like, that is the Arsenal that we know. And that is the Arsenal that we like we know that they can play like that and move the ball down the field literally on like a counter, whatever. And we haven't seen that in the last 3 weeks now. And that's been really frustrating. And so seeing that little spark, I was like, okay, maybe something's gonna start. But then the outcome was the outcome. But at least we got 2 goals that were bangers, and like maybe we're gonna start getting back to it.
I felt like in this match, like that goal specifically was the one time that Arsenal created enough space with their and we did a watch along on which Trev was not invited, and that's the result. Um, and
Probably why you guys won.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yes. And that was the first time that Arsenal had pushed City's back line as far back, but the midfield was still staying back. So Mariona was able to make that run, and Blue Brown was not tracking her at all. Like like she was just ball watching. So by the time that Fox made that pass, like she was cooked because there was no way that she was going to be able to recover. And then you knew that Mariona was going to get that shot off. But that was like, if you City's back, all of their entire back line at that point was like to the 6-yard box already. Whereas like there was all that midfield space that like was exposed that Blinkilde Brown wasn't covering. So I think that was like one of the few times in the match that that Arsenal was actually able to do that against City. I will say one of my favorite images from the match, and it was favorite images from the match with the caption of Bunny outsmarts the Fox was Bunny Shaw's header over Emily Fox, which shout out to MCFCW Extra on the social medias for that one. I thought that Iman Benet, in the short amount of time that she played, was electric. Like she was the player that led to the corner that Kirsten Kasper scored on, which I thought it was hilarious that she actually, like, the ball just ricocheted off of her plant foot, and that's how she scored the goal. And then she was the one that scored the game winner in the 88th minute. So like she was literally like changed the way the match was played just by her dynamism on the pitch. And I think that with a young player, like, you have to be very careful with not overplaying them, not overexposing them. I thought that Not Seb Hines is doing a very good job of protecting her, which is probably smart. Also,
that might be the first time you've complimented Not Seb Hines on this show.
It probably is. You are probably right. It might be on either show. It might be the first time that I've complimented him. Also, I have to get this off of my chest. I did my inner hater after that shit that she did after she scored, for the camera to then pan from City players celebrating Iman Benet's goal, who is essentially Chloe Kelly's replacement. Let's keep it a buck. And is okay accepting that role of game changer off of the bench. For the cameras to then cut to Chloe Kelly's face, like kind of outdone, like, yeah, come on, let's keep it up, let's keep it up. It's like that fed my hater spirit. So
we can talk about that because I think City fans are in their feelings a little bit too hard about that whole incident.
No, see, here's the thing. There's a level like
way too hard. I think y'all like.
Do you see
y'all are?
Do you see Nikita Paris doing all of that?
Crazy.
First
of all, Nikita Paris
in this league.
First of all, Nikita Paris has played for 80% of the teams in the WSL.
Yeah, I was like, she would have to do that.
So that's number one. Number two, you guys act like Chloe Kelly went to United and is kissing the badge. Like, first, like, okay, like before I talk about the game, I guess we'll talk about this. Like, first of all, you have to understand she didn't leave amicably. This was not like a player left and things were all good. Like,
but the person responsible for that is gone.
The manager, it doesn't matter. The manager at the time, that team at the time when she left City, had her ready to quit football. She was so unhappy and so unused, she was ready to quit football. Do you know what it's like to be in a toxic environment like that? Like, that makes you want to do bad things. Like, that puts you in such a bad mental space. And then she leaves to a club who, yeah, you can say that we're your rivals, but that's also a club that she started her career with. Like, she's our player, period. You can enjoy the 2-3 years, whatever you had with her. Like, she's Arsenal's player. Like, she came up through our academy. She was part of our inner ethos, and she came back home and discovered the joy again and discovered the happiness of soccer and won a Champions League. So, like, I don't blame her for doing what she did. And I'm someone that, like, if I feel like a player was doing too much, I would say it. But, like, I feel like that was a valid reaction considering all that had happened with her in her return to Man City and then scoring a goal like that. Like, I just think that City fans are taking it way too personal in terms of, like,
and I don't think it was. And I say this as an Arsenal fan. Like, I said this to people before. Like, there are so many players that have left Arsenal that, like, Arsenal fans are okay with. But there are probably 2 to 3 players, like I said, Robin Van Persie, Cesc Fabregas, Sami Nasri, who, like, those players deserve actual hate for the way that they left, for the timing that they left, for how they acted after they left. And, like, but a lot of times, like, you're like, hey, yeah, you go somewhere else. You didn't really come on at Arsenal. You go somewhere else. You do good. Like, you look at Eddie Nketiah. Like, a lot of Arsenal fans, like, yeah, he didn't work out for us, but look at what he's doing for Crystal Palace. Like, if a player is doing well outside of your club, like, all the power to him, you know? And, like, on the women's side, like, I think about, like, Chloe Lacasse. Like, she left. She wasn't feeling happy with Jonas. She had that article when she got to, I think it was Utah or something, where she got to the NWSL, and she had that article where she was like, yeah, I just wasn't enjoying soccer. And, like, I was like, hey, like, I get it, because Jonas had half of the team ready to quit. You know what I mean? And it showed. And so, like, I don't know. I just think that City fans are a little bit too much in their feelings. And I get it. Like, you don't want to see a player come back and kind of be as demonstrative as that. But, like, I also think that they're putting a little too much on it. Like, I think y'all just need to get out your feelings about it too much. Like, you won the game. It's okay. I don't think it was necessarily directed at the fans. Like,
no,
yeah,
I don't.
It was a massive badge tap,
and,
like, she was saying whatever. If you read her lips, she yelled, like, "This is my club," or, like, I saw the my club part, right? And we don't even know half the story. Like, we saw her statement. We know there was something to do with Gareth, and even if he's gone, clearly the club itself, like front office or whoever it was, directors didn't.
I mean, they obviously chose Gareth because they didn't, like we talked about earlier, they didn't fire Gareth until the whole thing with Bunny Shaw kicked off. So, like, let's not get it twisted. They chose Gareth over Chloe, period.
I don't blame her. Are we a little bit biased? Yeah, maybe. But I mean,
they granted her loan, though. Like, they didn't, like, if that were the case, like, they didn't have to let her go.
I mean, they didn't have to, but, like,
I mean, they could have just took the heat and be like, we have this disgruntled player. Like,
yeah, then you
really just gonna play with the U21s.
Really that's be crazy. What it is. Because she was, like I said, she was losing her spot with England. She was to the point where she was ready to quit football, and then like to go from that to winning the Euros, having a big part to play, winning the Champions League, having a big part to play, back at the club that you started out with, like the fans have embraced you, the club has embraced you. Like, I don't blame her at all for that reaction.
But
in
that's what
that
I'm saying,
return.
like, I
But
mean,
like,
granted, we don't know her, like, personality well off, like, the pitch, but for her to have, the uh, not reaction, but just the way she's acted afterwards. So the number of times she's like been like, "Oh, Renee is my manager. Renee is a great manager.
that's what
I
I'm
love
saying.
this
That
manager."
told me
Blah blah
all I need.
blah.
When I saw that Instagram post of "this is a proper manager," I was like,
Yeah, proper
okay,
manager, and then also this, like you said, she's being so demonstrative that I feel like we literally have no
we
idea how
don't.
bad it
Yeah, there was
was,
something that
and
happened
like there's
there.
something more
But
to
like I
it.
said, I think fans are just, and I get it. Like I get it, but I think that City fans are a little bit too much in their feelings about that incident. But in terms of the match, like the theme for Arsenal this week has been, and I mean this with all due respect to City because they are a good team, but the theme for Arsenal this week has been we are going to gift everyone goals outside of ourselves because like we'll talk about Champions League. Like
That Kasper goal pissed me
I
off.
feel like Arsenal have not lost the last two games because they were the worst team. I don't feel like Arsenal lost the last two games because the other teams figured them out. I feel like Arsenal have lost these last two games because like something is going on between the ears and they are just making these mistakes that we have not seen them make since the beginning of last season. Um, yeah, like even that Bunny Shaw opening goal, you look at that replay, you have Caitlin Ford, who I know is a forward and like doesn't really want to play back, but she's ball watching that whole time while Katie McCabe and Victoria Pelova are trying to defend the ball. And she's watching it the whole time. And in comes Kasper sprinting towards this ball that is basically a 50-50 ball. And then Caitlin Ford's like, oh, I should probably get on that. By then it's too late. And it's an easy cross to Bunny Shaw, who's like, that's her game, is heading in balls like that. Like that's what they pray for her to do. And so like that's a goal that you gave up.
Woman.
Yeah, like she's one of the best at it. So like that, you know what I'm saying? Like you give up a pass like that, like what do you expect to happen, right? And then on the second, like you said, the Kasper goal, another goal, not clear. Like it was a decent save from Daphne Van Zomselaar, but nobody on defense is there to clear it out.
Yeah,
And then you look at the
exactly.
Benet goal again, falls to Lotten Wibby Moy, who tries to clear it out. The ball deflects off of Benet, and she stays with it. And she's like, these are not. It's not like
no, but
doing them.
Bunny did abuse her with that first touch, like when it just like when she popped it over her head, it was like,
Oh yeah,
ooh.
Bunny absolutely set that
but
up because
like
it seemed like she
what I'm
lost the
saying
ball,
is
but then
like
she
this
didn't.
time last year, right? Like it was very clear. Okay, we got beat by Bayern. We got beat by the teams that beat us. Like we looked bad, but this is a different kind of looking bad. Like we just look so lost in terms of, and this is what I mentioned last week. And I feel like we're setting the tone for the week of discussions because 2 weeks ago I talked about how good Katie Reed was doing. And then like that whole week, there was like stories all about how good Katie Reed is doing. And last week I talked about how Arsenal are missing Leah Williamson, not because of what she's doing on the pitch, but just her leadership and her ability to kind of keep people focused. And that has been the talking point all week is how much Arsenal miss Leah Williamson and like what she does as a leader. And I think that is showed in the last two matches. And it's just, I think that to me is the real frustrating part because I can, as much as I hate losing, I can handle, okay, this team was just better than us. But when you're giving away goals to good teams, that's where I get annoyed because it's like you're hurting yourself. Like it really stings even more when you hurt yourself. And I think these last two like we'll talk about the Champions League one especially. Like I just feel like Arsenal hurt themselves. And I also and I get it because I think it's a real tough 1-2 to have to go through where you have City away and then 3 days later you have to host Olympique Lyonnais in your Champions League opener because I think that also affected the lineup because we saw Katie Reed not start, we saw Chloe Kelly not start, we saw Frida Monum not start, and these are all three of these players started the Champions League match, right? And so, is it a little bit different if those players get the start and we kind of go forward immediately? Like, who knows? But yeah, I mean, it was, like I said, it's one thing if City beat us and you're just like, yeah, they were just a better team, but it's a different kind of hurt when you come away feeling like we should have had them. Like we should have beat them 2-1. It shouldn't have even really been a thing. and we let them stay in it, and they got the 3 points. But like, yeah, I'll talk about Arsenal's kind of way forward when we get to the Champions League match, and we can talk about that. But like, yeah, it was not fun. It was not fun watching them look like that.
Yeah, I also will have more to say when we talk about the Champions League one.
Which is
But
even
Mark,
more
I'm
annoying. Oh
curious
my God, even more annoying.
Yeah,
now about
Mark,
what your
what's this
question
take? Yeah, question take.
or take. Yeah.
Bunny Shaw is back. Whoo, man, did she ball in that game. The second goal in particular, right? So there's I forget if it was a long ball, if it was a ball deflected in the air or whatever. But essentially, it's the header that Bunny Shaw wins that puts the ball back
It
into
was
the
a corner.
mix.
It was a
It was
corner
a
because
corner.
Benet won that corner.
Yeah, there's a particular camera shot that perfectly shows like the ball coming down and Bunny Shaw surrounded by like 5 Arsenal players, like 4 or 5 Arsenal players. And it's like so obvious that nobody but Bunny Shaw is going to win that ball. And yeah, and then like on the third goal, like the long ball, like the pass and the deflection were a bit lucky, but she was unplayable before that. Like they couldn't take the ball off of her. So I think I think that is certainly a spot where, like that specifically, you're like, we needed Leah Williamson. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're going up against uh the player that I think is the best striker in the world when she's on form, and she appears to be on form. So,
That's your
yeah,
take. The Bunny Shaw is good.
my take is that Bunny Shaw won the match. Like, my take is that
Okay.
Bunny Shaw is back, and
I thought you were gonna say something like more wild than that. Yes, Bunny Shaw is good. We know. Yes.
what? Bro, like no, don't do this. Don't do it. Look, I know you're salty
I'm
about the result.
saying, like, I
I know
literally
you're
just
salty.
spent
No,
20
I
minutes
know, I
talking
know,
about
I
how,
know. You're
like,
big
I
mad.
get
It's all
it. Like,
good.
I
It's all
thought,
good.
like, you made it
It's
sound like you
all
were gonna
good.
say
No,
something
you're still
wild.
mad.
I thought you were gonna say like City was gonna win the championship
Interrupting
or
me
something.
because I'm pointing out what happened in the match. What happened in the match is that Bunny Shaw stomped all over y'all, right? Like I get that Arsenal shot themselves in the foot, but it's because you're going up against a really good fucking player. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, most of the
and
like chances and XG probably came from her. I haven't looked at
and
the actual stats, but yeah.
but what I did actually want to bring to Tom. So I'm looking at this table now, Tom. Okay. I see City is in second place, a point behind Chelsea, have as many wins as Chelsea. When are you going to give Andre Juggert, a.k.a. not Seb Hines, credit, sir?
I just did. I said that. I
No,
said
more
he's.
credit
Oh, more
for making
credit.
for making you all fringe title contenders.
Okay, so here's the deal. Coming into this season is essentially a 4-team table, right?
Yeah.
For who can win the league. We know that, right? So of those, like you play each other like twice. So there's um,
Like 6
well,
matches.
there's 18 points available, right?
Yeah.
So you would assume that the first team to 15 is probably good. The first team to 14 is probably going to win, most likely.
That's okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
By like, and so by that nature, like the best way to do that is to make sure that you win all of your 9 home matches, get draws for like most of the away matches, and then sneak a win somewhere, right? By not getting the draw against y'all in the first match, like that already meant we dropped 2 points, like, or it dropped a point. Like,
Yeah.
And to me, like, in order to be considered a title contender, like, yes, you have to win those home matches against those other 3 teams, and like all we did was hold serve, like, because you got the 3 points at home. So, like, until I see City get a result on the road, against that like table of 4 or those other 3 teams, the title doesn't really seem plausible to me. Like top 3 does, but not the title.
See, what I'm wondering is, I feel like you're a lot of sneaky title contender because you don't have Champions League, right? Like, so this is like the other cups are cool, but like WSL is by far the biggest like trophy you could contend for, right?
Mhm.
And like this is still largely the same team that should have won it 2 seasons ago, and that's not including Mitoma, who also seems to be in form again. So like I don't know. I know I've said this about City before, right? But like City have a good team. Like I know there's a lot you could criticize about City, but like they have a lot of good okay. This is another thing I want to talk about City. I think Kasparov is wild underrated. Like
Thank you.
I
Thank
Yeah,
even
you.
I
think
agree.
I went back to check. I'm kind of surprised she wasn't named to the best 11 because to me, since the beginning of last season, she's been the best right back in the league. Like in the matches that I've seen from City, she's consistently one of their better players, and that's both ways, but especially
Mhm.
getting forward. Like the
Mhm.
delivery to Bunny Shaw, perfect, right? Like obviously she was involved in the second goal. I don't know how much credit I give her for that, but she was there, But I think I think she's another player that doesn't get enough credit.
I think like I know I said this on the SOB show a couple episodes ago. Like there are two players that I don't ever have a worry about them not being in the right place or them not making the right play. Yui Hasegawa and Kirsten Kasparai. Like those two players are almost always in the right place for City, making the correct action, which I have long seen her as like potential captain if and when Alex Greenwood like decides to retire. Like I think that like she is the type of player that you would want to follow. And I know that we had a discussion on the show, the other show, about how they don't have a captaincy board as they have had in the past. It's just the captain, and so I don't know how that works if Greenwood like doesn't start a match or like goes down injured. So,
I see what you're saying, yeah.
but like to me, she would be the logical conclusion to wear the armband if that were to ever happen.
I had another question to ask, but I've forgotten it now. Maybe it'll come to me for when we discuss Champions League or something.
No one got points for this game.
I was
Like
looking
Yeah.
at that.
everyone said a result that was wrong.
Okay, well, yeah. Trav and Tom thought Arsenal would win. Tom, you just lied. You straight up. I think you're reverse jinxing your team because you were like, "Oh, they're not gonna. City won't score any. Arsenal's gonna dominate 2-0. Blah blah blah. We're not gonna trust you with your team ever again." um, Mark and I both thought it would be a 2-2 draw, which, to be fair, we were so very close to being right. Just a late game winner, thanks to Iman Benet. So no points for any of us. However, if I had just switched my Manchester team scores, I would be +3 right now because I said 3-2 for the United Chelsea one. So in hindsight, just like went the wrong direction on City. Also, my question to you, Tom, would have been, when are you going to start calling Andre Eglerts by his name? What will it take to not call him not Seb Hines?
Hardware.
Oh, damn.
But any hardware or like league title?
Any hardware. I will
Okay.
I'll take the Subway eat fresh foot
Yeah.
long with the cookies cup trophy. I'll take the FA Cup. If the league happens by some miracle, because like that is what is going to have to happen, is in fact a miracle for City to win the league, then that's cool. We will address him as not Seb Hines, as not Seb Hines.
As not Seb Hines.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Hardware. Done. Deal. All right. Next match was Leicester versus Everton. 1-1 draw. Leicester scored first, but then Everton came back. Is that correct? Or was it the other way around? Everton scored first.
Vignola
Yes,
scored first,
Vignola. Vignola scored first. And oh my gosh, that was such a good solo goal, actually. Uh, there were so many times where I thought she just like lost it and lost the angle and just wouldn't have got there, and then she got there and she scored. And even the commentators were like, she's like excited and then dropped when, it looked like the two defenders would have got to the ball first and she missed it. And then she like cut through them, got to the ball, and then their voice peaked a little bit more, and then she went wide and they're like, oh, she doesn't have it. And they're like, but does she have it? And then she like shot and scored and it was great. But my goodness, what a start to the season she's had. Like she's already had a couple, I don't know what her goal tally is, but I think she scored like a hat trick on her first match or something. And
She has 4 goals in 5 matches. Like
4 goals in 5 matches.
Yes, she did score 3 of them against Everton, but still,
you mean Liverpool?
Against Liverpool, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But still, that she's been phenomenal in her first season with Everton so far.
She's got to be the newcomer of the season, right?
She is so far to me, in my opinion. She's absolutely running away with that award because she's been the reason why Everton have looked as good as they've looked, and she's been the reason why they've come away with the wins that they have. I definitely feel like overall this was a 1-1 type of match. Like it didn't really feel like either team was dominant. Everton got I guess it wasn't an early goal, right? It was like in the 51st minute. 51st minute that she got the goal. But like it didn't feel like any side was dominant. It didn't feel like any side really deserved to win, but not like in a derogatory way, but just like in a very much, these were 2 even teams. They were playing really well against each other. I think 1-1 was fair to Leicester's side of it. And Everton, like I'm just really, I don't know. Everton is like so confusing because I want to be impressed with Everton, but then like you look at like I said, the loss that they had against Brighton, I feel like they probably should have gotten a draw from that, if not a win. And then obviously the loss to London City, like that's another one. I feel like they should have won that match. So I think it's very obvious that there's still a team that are I think they've upgraded from being a relegation battle team, and they are now a team that are trying to figure out who they are and what they want to do and how to find results consistently. Because I think if they can do that, they'll very much be a mid-table team by the end of the season. So I'm impressed with them, but I'm also disappointed in them. Which again, like I don't mean that in a too derogatory way, but just like I feel like they can do better than they have done. And once they figure that out about themselves, and once they kind of get their footing and figure out who they are, I think that this will be a team that'll be fun to watch for the rest of the season. And like I said, I can see them finishing mid-table for sure. Like I can see them finishing kind of in that 6th, 7th, 8th spot, which to them, like for them, is really good.
I think that, and to piggyback off your point, Trev, I think that this is a good step in that direction. Like we've seen them struggle to get points at all when they're not playing Liverpool. So like to be able to, number one, get points when you're not playing Liverpool. And number two, like get up any sort of points on the road. I think that like you can build on that and grow into that for Everton. Also, Brian Sorensen might be the most drippy manager in all of the WSL. Have y'all seen him on the touchline? I was like, okay, I see you.
I can't say that I've noticed, but I will take a look out next time.
That man's got style. Man's got drip.
He does.
He be putting that shit on.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I'll have to take a look next time. But I do want to say, like, yeah, I think maybe we expected a bit too much out of Everton when they first started the season. But I think they're like this match showed, I think teams. So yeah, I have to expectations, and Leicester I have to like up them a little bit because I thought Leicester was also kind of relegation battle team, but they've showed me in the last couple weeks that maybe not so. Maybe they're a little bit, I won't say mid-table yet, but around the like 9th, 10th range.
I think they're in an amazing position right now. Like being in 10th with 4 points and above
Out of
two
that
teams who have
relegation bracket,
no
yeah.
points. Yeah, like they're
Yeah,
already like, you know,
I don't know
gaining
if we
points.
overestimated Everton though. I think it was a mix of like, I just think that we all knew Liverpool would be bad. We just didn't know Liverpool would be this bad. And so when Everton beat them 4-1 to start the season, it was kind of like, whoa. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because again, it'd be different if Everton beat them like 1-0, 2-1. You're like, okay, they snuck out a win. Like Liverpool is going to be bad. But they dominated that match. And they were scoring for funsies. And like Vignola looked really good. And I think that that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to lean on her. And she's going to have to help make everyone else better. And like I said, like they just need to find their footing because
yeah.
they have really good results. I think one real disappointing result. Like I don't think the Brighton loss is too bad because I believe in Brighton a lot more. I think they have more talent. But I do think that the London City loss, I feel like, is the one where you point at so far this season and be like, should have won that one. That should have been 3. So, but they're doing good. They'll be fun to watch. Like I said, I think I'm excited for January because if Everton showed anything last season, it's that they are not afraid to add during the window. And so I think, we talked about them adding to avoid relegation last year, and they did that and had a phenomenal end of the season. And I think if we're talking about, needing to add a couple more pieces just to kind of be that mid-table team, I think they do that in January. And so, yeah, they're going to be fun.
Well, my question is, and maybe you guys know, but I haven't been able to see anything about Kelly Gago and where she is. Is she injured? She wasn't
I
like
feel
she
like she's been
play.
playing. She's just been
She
real
had a
quiet.
concussion.
Oh, that's what it was. Was it this match? She played last week, right? She had the concussion last week.
I think it was she played not this past week, but the week before that. And I think that's when she sustained the concussion.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So not the.
Mm-hmm.
So
because
she
played
missed
in Brighton Hodavian. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Brighton match.
No, she missed the Brighton match as well.
Let me see. Yep, she did actually. Yes, you're right.
So it would have been before
the
that.
one before that. Okay, yeah. So she's in concussion protocol.
No, she didn't even play against City. When was the last time she played? London City, which is so she's missed 3 in a row. So maybe like again, when you're missing one of your like star signings.
That's fair. I didn't realize she was gone that long. So.
Okay, prediction wise.
Oh, also just a quick bow on this match. I did like to Mark's point. Leicester did actually find that fighting spirit to like come back and get to equalize. Like, yes, it did take getting a player off the bench to score, but like the goal that Mushan scored was actually kind of nice.
Yeah, it was.
So credit to Leicester for finding a way to get a result at home.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up that point. And because Mark had talked about Leicester's fighting spirit last time, and yet still chose Everton to win this match. Like we were talking about before pre-show, Mark, you just have to listen to yourself. But yeah, all of you chose Leicester. No, what did you choose? Treb said Leicester would win 2-1. Tom also said 2-1. Mark said 2-1 Everton. I said 1-1 draw. So +2 for me. Next one was this one's gonna get me mad. London City Lionesses versus Liverpool. London City gets granted a win.
They got Heaslip'd. Liverpool got
Heaslip'd. Yeah.
I feel like if there was a theme of this week in bangers with the goals, it was also a theme of we need VAR in this league because there was this match, and we'll talk about it, the penalty that should not have been. And then we'll talk about the Brighton match later where they had 2 penalties that should have been that weren't. So, yeah. We need video review.
I think what makes this so egregious is that Emily Heaslip'd is supposed to be like the head of women's PGMOL, and basically the HBIC of HB's IC, and she is making like that terrible call. Like, Oh Jesus! Like that was
Like,
so bad.
listeners, please go watch this, but, like, be prepared to be appalled, like, at how bad it
Just
was.
absolutely awful.
I think she got
And then, and
baited.
then
I think she got baited
here's the other thing.
by the Paris
By
semantics
the
after.
Paris of it all,
Mhm.
I could see that. I think the other thing is too, like the, the y'all. I'm so glad he's not my manager anymore. I swear to God, this is what this man had to say, like on whether he had any complaints over the late penalty decision. Quote. No, I don't think so. It's a long diagonal ball, which we need to defend better. It gets caught up in the wind a little bit, and we make a rash decision in the moment of the game where it felt like it was petering
It
out.
wasn't a rash decision though.
We were igniting them a little bit. We
Does
were
he watch
playing
his
a
own
little bit
matches? He must not watch his own matches.
fast from our build up and putting ourselves in a situation we didn't need to. For me, I wasn't surprised the penalty was given.
What?
I may not be
Dog.
surprised that the penalty was
End
given,
quote.
but to say that
Dog.
Borgraf made a rash decision, I think is false. Because I went back and I watched the replay of that penalty call several times. I slowed it down. You can see Borgraf actually do something that a lot of keepers don't do. And she made actually a really good decision because the ball comes in. You see Nikita Paris high. First of all, she's high kicking it.
First
Her
of
feet
Yeah.
all, look where
way
her
up in the
boot
air.
is.
Her studs are way up in the air. She's as high kick as she can get, like the
Rockets high kick.
Yes. And so, like, she hits the ball. As she hits the ball, Borgraf comes in with her hands. She knows immediately she's not going to fully get there. She moves her body away
Yeah.
from Nikita Paris to avoid contact while still keeping her hands towards the ball. Nikita Paris then brings her foot down on Borgraf's thigh. That's where the contact comes in at. At no point does Borgraf run into her. It is Nikita Paris bringing down her foot at an angle from being such a high kick that she studs down on the thigh of Borgraf, and she goes down. And this is why I think that I say like Emily Heaslip'd got baited, because in that moment at normal speed, I can see how you can be like, oh, that was a big crash. It must have been the goalkeeper's fault. But this is also why we need VAR, because if you have VAR, you look at that for 3 seconds and you're like, oh, that's not a foul.
Yeah.
It's not a card. That's not a foul. That's not a penalty. Nikita,
Yeah.
get up. Because, like, the keeper, in my opinion, did something that I don't see a lot of keepers do, which is, like I said, she moved her body to the side. She kept her hands at a place where she could possibly defend the ball, but avoided the contact with the player specifically to avoid the penalty.
Yeah.
And London City were bailed out hard. And I feel really bad for Liverpool, because this is one of those matches that when you're a team that's not good, like, this is the make or break. Like, these can be the deciding factors in whether or not you end up relegated. Now, again, like we've mentioned this before, luckily this year it's not automatic relegation. You still have that playoff match that you can save your skin in. But it is definitely one of those calls that can ruin your season, because when you're a team that are struggling for wins and struggling for points as Liverpool are, to be robbed of at least a point is detrimental. Like, it really is a gut punch. And I think that they were robbed, like, of their first points. So to be sitting there at 0 points right now has got to feel a little bit more harsh, knowing that London City got bailed hard.
Yeah.
That was just such an awful call.
I don't know. Heaslip got that Kang check or something, because
Like I said, I think she got baited, because if you watch the replay, the contact happens and Paris falls to the ground like she had gotten run over by a train. Like, she's on the ground, she's writhing in pain. Players are like waving to the bench as if she's like somehow broke her leg. Like, and it wasn't until all of that Heaslip comes in and actually gives the yellow card to Borgraf. So, like, I think it was the theatrics of it all that I think it, like I said, just when you watch it in real time, I can agree with Taylor in that I can see how that gets called. Especially if you don't have a video review system, I can see how you make that call real time. There was contact, but again, like, you get baited, I think, by Paris writhing on the ground like a child. And like, that is when a lot of us Americans talk about CONCACAF, like, that was pure CONCACAFery. Like, that was dark art at its purest. Snape would be proud.
foolery.
That was dark. Nikita with the darkest of arts because holy cow, they get bailed hard.
So obviously I agree with everything in terms of that's not a penalty, right? That's never a penalty. Paris initiates the contact, and I don't even think she's getting to the ball, like because she kicks it high,
She got to
like
the ball, but it was one of those like
No,
she
no.
absolutely didn't have control of it. Yeah, like
Yeah,
there was no.
I don't know if she gets back to the ball, right?
No.
So
Oh yeah, no,
but
yeah. Even if there's no contact, she doesn't get back to that
right, and
because the
then like
defenders were there.
the timing of the penalty, 89th minute, right? Like that's obviously why they won. But what I will say is like Lionesses had way more chances on target, looked way more like scoring throughout the match. Do you know how many shots Liverpool took in this match without looking?
I would
I
imagine
think
it
it
was
was
like two.
three.
Three
Yeah.
shots in 90 minutes.
Listen, London City may have deserved the win, but it doesn't mean they deserve the win. If you know what I'm saying.
Oh no,
Like,
no, I agree.
I don't
Like
know
they
if
were
they
on their way to
necessarily
a draw.
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe that they deserved a win in this match because they're like it wasn't the fact that like they had more chances, like their finishing was just terrible. Like
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like they could not hit the broad side of the and they had some really good looks. Like Isabel Goodwin was in on goal, like about the penalty spot and just like missed bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I don't think that London City deserved 3 points, maybe one. Sure, I'll give them the one, but the three definitely. Like,
Yeah, definitely not.
That is like a point plus 2 Emily Heaslip'd bonus points and shit. Like,
check clear.
Also, with the penalty, I thought the like commentators were like amazed at it and thought it was really good, like really well taken. I honestly thought she was about to sky it. I didn't think it was
almost
Yeah.
a ball don't lie
Almost
moment.
did.
It was almost a ball don't lie moment.
Yeah,
Like she hit that crossbar, and I thought like justice had been served.
Yeah,
but it just
And
bounced
like the
back
way
behind
that
the line.
obviously they're not gonna post anything, but like the socials too, they were like, "Oh, a great penalty, like another rocket." Like,
I don't know about all that.
what did they
Chill.
say?
Chill,
They were
bro.
like, "Oh yeah," they were like, "Never a doubt." And I'm like, "Really? I doubted."
No, there was a lot of doubt, bro.
there was a lot of doubt. There was a lot of doubt.
Listen, socials got to hype up their side. Like I can't even
They
be mad
do,
at them.
they do. I get it. But yeah,
That's
that
copium. They're lying. London City didn't deserve that win. I mean, like I said, they got built. I just feel for Liverpool because those are the kind of matches you look back at the end of the season and you're just like,
yeah.
But
like Mark said, Liverpool didn't really help themselves either.
No, well, no, they suck. So
yeah, unfortunately. But we all did predict a London City win, so
yeah, we got points. I'll take that.
Finally on the board.
Finally, yeah.
Finally on the board this week.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything more to say about that one?
No, that was pretty much it.
That's it. Yeah, not too much else. Okay, another 1-0 match was next, which was Tottenham versus Brighton. More VA or lack of VAR drama, I should say.
Twice Brighton got. I mean, if I can just say this bluntly, Brighton got hoed twice in this match. They got absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, go on. Who did any of you watch this one? Actually,
I watched it. I actually watched this live.
What I will say is that Spurs goal was a very pretty.
It was a great goal.
It was a great
beautiful
team goal back to front. It was real cool to see Jess Nas be the one to get the assist.
Yes,
that was
pass.
And one of the commentators for that match was kind of talking about how Jess Nas has been rejuvenated this season under Martin Ho. I know we kind of talked about her last season, kind of wondering if she was like a fringe Lioness play. Obviously, that didn't play out, but yeah, it's good to see her like fulfilling her potential, so to speak.
I know we were talking about Vignola as like newcomer of the season, but I think Hanberg is in her way up there too, in my opinion. She's kind of been the difference for Spurs in the last few matches, and She only signed in September, but she's been.
You know what she is? She's the other player outside of Beth England that can score for Spurs.
Exactly. She's the person, and she's done that, like, rightly so, and has like let them win. What are they on now? 3 wins in a row, which is crazy for Spurs. Actually, I'm like looking at that. I'm like, yeah, 3 wins in a row. They're third in the table. Like, I know there's like an asterisk with this because like look at the teams that they've played, but still they're sitting at 12 points. Tied with City, but 1 point behind Chelsea. Like none of us expected this coming into the season, and so yeah, I think like Tanberg is like Vignola, Tanberg. They're 2 of definitely like the sparks this season that we've seen.
Okay, I'm about to get real Stugatz right now. Do it against a big 4 side. Like,
yeah, I know.
Like, I think I can't. Everything is pointing to like, oh, Spurs is actually a serious team, but I can't get that 5-1 shellacking.
Yeah, they just got done. Yeah, they got dogged by City.
Yeah,
I can't get that out of my head. So
And it's not
until
like they're
they're able
dogging
to
everyone
get
else, right? Like,
Yes.
Tottenham aren't out here dogging everyone else. They're like barely getting by some of these teams.
I mean, you look at so I'm a believer, especially at this point in the season, that goal difference is an indicator of like future performance.
Yeah.
Like, so you look at the top 4: Chelsea on +8, City on +8, United on +10, and Spurs on +1. They've scored 7 goals in 5 matches, with Tanberg having 3 of them. Like, I think, like, yeah, this is one of those things where they're beating the teams that they can and maybe they should. But then, 2, isn't that kind of enough to finish 5th in this league? Like, especially, like, we thought that maybe Brighton, maybe Everton would be there, and neither of them have really started the way we thought. So is Tottenham maybe the 5th best team in this league?
I'm with Tom. I got to see them. I got to see them against other good teams to see first.
Yeah.
Let's see how they do against Chelsea. Let's see how they do against United. Let's see how they do against Arsenal.
But I mean, yeah, like I guess what Mark is saying, besides those top 3, 4 that we expect them to lose to.
I mean, yeah, could they finish 5th? Yes. I think that they could finish 5th. Will they finish 5th? I still have Brighton as a favorite for that spot. And the way that they're playing right now, I would say London City might be a favorite for that spot.
Man.
Well, I was like, after
though their goal differential, you want to talk about goal differential saying
I know, I was
something
going to
just real
look at London City's goal
like
differential.
they are in the top of the top 10 or of the top 9. London City have by far the worst goal differential at -8.
Yeah. Yep.
It's actually worse than
the
that.
worst.
It's the second worst in the league.
Yeah,
that's
besides
what I
West
mean.
Ham,
Like,
the second worst.
But even then, like,
But
again, like, I gotta
it's
see
because they played Arsenal and United.
But that's what we
The
mean.
first
like,
2 weeks, right?
Yeah, like Tottenham hasn't played either of them, so like we'll see. But also, is it just like, these small wins that you are getting, even though they are whatever, 1-0, 2-1, etc.
3 points or 3 points, right?
3 points are 3 points, and it's a confidence boost. So like by the time they get to these top 4 teams, will they have improved? Will they like a lot of it is mental too. And so it's like, Arsenal's on a skid right now, whereas Tottenham is coming up. So like, I don't know, North London Derby's not for a bit, I think. But when it gets to that point, where will the teams be mentally? Where will they be in the table at that point? So I think it's not all just like, yeah, okay, they have to play the quote unquote better teams, but
wait, when is the North London? I'm like looking at this, trying to look for it. Do we play them like?
I mean, we don't play Chelsea till like December or something, right?
No, we play them soon. Actually,
November.
Oh, is it soon? Is it sooner?
Yeah, it's.
Tottenham play Chelsea this weekend, so we'll find out some things about Tottenham.
Yeah, true. Okay.
Anyway.
Anyway.
The first North London derby is at Tottenham's house, and it's going to be on November 16th.
Okay.
Probably the big house.
Let me see. I think they have the stadium already at Brisbane Road.
It's not at Spurs Hotspur Stadium.
No.
That's interesting.
Why would it be at Hotspur Stadium?
Anyway.
What I
always expect to play teams like that at the small stadiums, huh?
To get on Brighton in this match, Ndozie is being let down by not necessarily by the defense, but by the attack. Like Spurs had 7 shots on target, and they only scored 1 goal. So
well,
that
even
means
that goal that they scored, like you look at the pass from Nas, you had one defender completely on skates, like turned all the way around, and then a second defender. Like there were 2 defenders in the area of the goal scorer. I forget who it was. Of the one that's of her, and so like they did nothing about it, and they weren't far off from the ball. So like maybe better positioning or better awareness, and they get to that. But yeah, you're right. Like Ndozie is being let down hard by the rest of her team.
I think she has a good shout for being in the contention for newcomer of the season. Like I think she has performed well. The Brighton and I have to eat crow on this because I said that Brighton did the best business of the window, and that business is not
doing anything.
It's not only is it not like parlaying to results, it's not even parlaying to goals, which that's a problem. Like Michelle's not scoring, Rosa Kafaji's not scoring, Maisie Simons isn't scoring, Madison Haley's not scoring, Fran Kirby's not really scoring. So like, where are these goals coming from? Like that's like you're supposed to be able to have that luxury goalkeeper like that's going to get you a clean sheet because she stands on her head, or like get you a draw because she stands on her head and you got a goal. Like, and that's not happening. She is being let down by her attack in what I would say.
I was muted, sorry. But I was like, at the end of the day, you still need to score to win. And so she can do as much as she can to like keep them in the match or like get them a draw or whatever, but they need score. But and you know, like looking at their sheet, like you just mentioned, all the players who should score and can score, they haven't been. So it's I don't know when they have to like when they're gonna click because it's not like a lot of them are new either. Like most of them came from last year when you know they did start to gel a bit. So I don't know. I'm kind of like surprised and yet confused by Brighton so far. In terms of predictions, Mark thought it would be a draw. Treb and Tom said Brighton win. I said Spurs win. So point for me. I guess 2-1. So wrong score, but I was the only one who believed in Spurs, if you will. But to be fair, I don't know if I mentioned it while I was giving my prediction, but I was like,
no, you did. You just did
I
it to make up ground. You didn't really believe in Spurs.
No,
right?
no. I was gonna say I said Spurs because I thought Tanberg would score, and like I honestly think she's made such a big difference.
Isn't that extra points?
So, yeah, she's the only reason that I am putting a little bit faith in Spurs.
Wait a minute. No. Can't nobody get extra points for that?
I'm not giving myself extra points.
I feel like we gave extra points for that earlier in the year, and that's why Tom had such a big lead because he was like naming goal scorers.
No, don't worry.
We may need to go back.
We can't be adding rules now every time. Okay, then we had West Ham versus Aston Villa, the last match of the weekend. Villa won 2-0. West Ham, poor West Ham. What are they? Bottom of the table, no points.
They're right there with Liverpool.
Minus 14 goal differential. Like somehow they're worse than Liverpool so far.
Yeah, and they've like West Ham. It's not just like they've played a couple big teams. Yeah, they played Chelsea and they played Arsenal, right? But they've also like they lost to Tottenham, they lost big to Brighton, and then they lose this match to Villa. And so it's like, who exactly can you beat You know what I mean? Like, you got to get points somewhere.
That
They don't really
Liverpool
have to
West
get
Ham
points anywhere.
that Liverpool West Ham match is going to be oof, oof.
Man, woo, real football
But it
sick
also might
flowers.
decide some things.
Yeah, right. This
Crazy enough, I feel like Liverpool beat them down too. Like that's the worst part. I feel like Liverpool beats them like 3-0.
You think?
man.
I know we mentioned sicko matches, but
Okay,
like that might be the
okay.
sickoest.
I don't know. I don't know if I buy that though, based off of the fact that like they beat Brighton pretty convincingly in
In the
the
Subway
Subway Cup
Cup.
in the midweek. So it's like, so to me, like I think in the doc, Mark, you wrote like, is Rhiannon Skinner the leader in the sack race? And I think I would reframe that as like Rhiannon Skinner's talents as a manager are being misused and miscast because she actually needs to go be a manager for country versus a manager for club.
Mm.
Like I think that she would probably succeed more doing that than doing this.
Do you think she's more of a tournament manager versus
Yes.
league
Yes.
campaigner? Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense. But yeah, in terms of West Ham, I mean, so this match, I actually watched. I had it on. I don't know. I watched some of it. I wouldn't say I watched it actively. I mean, it was a real sicko match, but like both these teams, like kind of went at each other, and I think like there was a desperation for points. This was Aston Villa's first win of the season, but they only have one loss in the WSL so far this season. They also lost to Tottenham on penalties in League Cup fixture, but yeah, this match was kind of petering along, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of wondering where these goals were gonna come from, and then 60th minute, Aston Villa gets a corner. Um, let's see, who is it? It's Hansen takes the corner, and she plays a short corner to Wilms, who plays it back to Hansen, and she just rips it from the corner of
Yeah.
the penalty area. Like it was the craziest angle. When I saw the shot, I was like, okay, that's going wide, and psych, like it just flew into the top corner. And it's another one for your theory, Deep T, about the ball flying because I wish I had seen like an angle from behind the ball because I
Yeah.
just didn't understand how it flew into the corner from where she shot it. But um, I also think it's kind of a poor goal to give up because it was literally a give and go off the corner. Like she just passed it to Wilms, Wilms passes it
I
back to her, and she
Yeah,
rips it.
I do wanna see a different angle, like you said, because, she just ripped it, which that means she wasn't even trying to cross it, like, she was definitely going for the shot, so
Yeah.
from behind would have seen, like, what she saw and what opening kind of she saw there because you're right, um, that from the angle they did show, it looked like an impossible angle to score from, but, um, that was the first of 2 actually, like, screamers. The second goal was also great.
Yeah, where Wilms, the assister on the first goal, became the scorer. It was off a free kick and just buried nicely into the top corner. And it's funny, yeah, it was just like 7 minutes after the first one, and just like that, like Villa kind of going along this game, like they created a couple chances. I wouldn't necessarily say they were, that created big chances. It looked like they were going to win necessarily, but uh, I think that's a big win for them on the road. Like I mentioned, it's their first win of the season. And, maybe Arroyo starting to implement a style somewhat. I mean, like I did think Villa looked decent overall. They had a couple like Rachel Daly had a chance that she definitely like you would expect her to score kind of. So, but I I can't tell how much of this is Villa actually being good or finding themselves and West Ham just being really poor right now.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, like you said that like the only loss that they have is against Chelsea, and like considering that they also played Arsenal away, like that's I mean the you would expect like those top 4 teams that we've mentioned to
Mhm.
take all of those points off of them. So like the fact that they can at least claim a draw against one of them, like that speaks well of them. So like maybe you're looking that they might maybe they might reach that 6, 7, 8 spot, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
All right, prediction wise, Treb thought it'd be a draw, so unfortunately no points for you, Treb. The rest of us got Aston Villa winning, and Mark gets an extra point for nailing the scoreline, 2-0 Villa. So, to round out the scores after match day 5, in 4th place we have Treb with 14 points. 3rd place Mark with 17. 2nd place, myself with 20 points. And still in 1st place, but the lead has been cut, is Tom with 21. So we're
You close that
only
gap
1
fast,
point off.
Deep D.
That gap has been closed. And that's why we won't be doing extra points, don't worry, because otherwise then just get too crazy making up different rules for more points. But yeah, gap has been closed. We need to figure out what like the winner gets or what the loser has to do or something, because there will be something at the end of this. It's always more fun. We'll quickly do Champions League recaps because the first league phase match happened this week. Arsenal, Chelsea, and United are all in the league phase, as we know. And then we'll talk through a couple quick storylines, news stories from the week as well. And that'll be it. So, recaps. Arsenal played the Olympic Lions, however you say that again, at home on Tuesday evening and lost 2-1 to them. Poor match from Arsenal, and I'm not gonna lie, I was already like mad at the last couple league matches from Arsenal, so I didn't even bother to watch the highlights of this one.
Good thing you didn't. I had
Yeah.
to sit. I sat through that match. That was
As a neutral on this match, I will say Melchi Dumornay is a hooper. She is another one, like just like in that Cat Macario mode. Like I just be out here hooping, getting buckets, and she be out there hooping, getting buckets. I don't know what else to tell you. She's fun to watch. Also, that short man is really gonna. We can get into this at another time, but that short man is really going to keep on playing the transphone over Liliana's, and like he's going to put her, and then that means that Emma's going to put her on a plane to Brazil. And
she's going to 2027. I don't know why you guys keep trying to act like it's not. Corbin will be on that team 2027. Bookmark it.
No,
right
I was like, we don't talk about
it's
the French teams on this pod, but there's a lot we can say about.
It's going to happen.
At the moment,
fans, like I get it, but like it's going to happen. It was always going to happen. The day that she kept Corbin in the lineup post-Olympic, it was always going to happen. This was always going to be the case. But yeah, the match itself sucked. Like I said, it's been the week of just Arsenal handing over goals. Daphne, it's easy to hoop when you get layups, right? Like you give Asia Wilson a clear lane, she's going to drop a bucket. And Daphne Van Domsor got caught in the middle of doing what I said it last week. Like, I don't know what's up with Daphne right now, but she's making a lot of silly mistakes that she did not make last season. And it's costing the team right now. And it sucks because I think in situations like this, you would do well to kind of give a keeper, not necessarily drop them, but just give them a break, right? Like sometimes I think players just are in a slump. Maybe they need like a day or two off, like give them a game or two off. But I don't trust Manu to catch a cold in the winter. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the worst part about it. Like, there is not a backup keeper where I feel like, okay, yeah, put them in, let Daphne kind of just like, like
rest,
and like rest and like meditate and get mentally right. Like, unfortunately, like Daphne, you got to fight through this shit because the alternative is Manu, man. We've Manu, and we've seen. I was
about to say.
Like we've seen what she does, and like again, like I love her passion for the club, but I do not trust her in the slightest. And so, you're kind of in a tough spot. But yeah, Daphne gave up. First of all, Arsenal did well to score the first goal. Like like we talked about with City, like they opened up that second half. You saw the flash of what they can do. Like Arsenal came into this match and you felt like, okay, yeah, like the City loss was kind of worth it. They came out, they looked like they were going to take it to Lyon. They had that first goal. Everything was going good. As expected, Lyon kind of turned up the pressure and Daphne like handed Duvernay the easiest goal you can hand her. And to Daphne's credit, she saved the first shot. Unfortunately, it bounced right back to Duvernay, who like was, got it the second time. And then same with the second goal. It was another case of, it's bounced around, unlucky deflection in the midfield, bounces up to Katie Reed. Katie Reed tries to head it clear, doesn't clear it all the way. She heads it literally right to Duvernay, who handles it with her chest, takes a step to the left, and fires off a rocket. And like when you're a player that good, like you just can't give good players like that free looks at the goal. Like you just can't, because they're going to make you pay. And so it was just another one of those matches where it's like you don't feel like Arsenal got beat as much as they beat themselves. Like you don't, like I don't come away from that match. It's a bit like that first leg that we saw last year where it was like, okay, yeah, Lyon beat. And honestly, I think Lyon probably, I feel more like Lyon was better than us that first leg last year than this match, because it was like, okay, Lyon came into our house, they beat us. It is what it is. Like we'll try to get them back. But like this match, it felt like like I said, there's just something mentally going on with Arsenal right now where they are just in the wildest of slumps. I think for a team that started off so good to start the season, 9 goals in their first 2 matches, things look to be going well, and then they just hit a wall and they haven't recovered. I don't know what can be done. I think, yeah, I mean, they just need to play through it. To stay on the basketball terminology, I think they just need a layup. I think they just need to have a run of teams, and they're going to get that coming up, where they just need to get away from some of these top teams, right? Like it's a bit like the men's side where it's like you played all these top teams kind of in the first part of your schedule. Like I said, that's a tough run where you go United away, you're home against Villa, who's always been a tricky team. You got City away, and then you're home to Lyon to start the Champions League. Like that's a rough four match stretch for any team. And so the next few matches for Arsenal, they get Brighton at home, and that'll be a Brighton without Rosa and without Michelle Adjemaine because of the way the rules are set up. They can't play against their parent club. They're away to Benfica for match day 2 of the Champions League, and respect to Benfica, but they shouldn't be on the same level as Arsenal. And then they're away to Leicester before the big Chelsea match on November 8th. So I think, before we hit the panic button, we got to see what those 3 matches look like. But in my opinion, Arsenal have to get 9 points these next 3 matches. Like they just have to. If they want to salvage whatever this season can look like, they need 9 points. They need to get their confidence back. They need to get their swagger back. They've shown in the City match. They've shown at the first part of this Lyon's match. They can score. They are a good team. They have the ability. They have the players. They just need to figure it out defensively. And I don't know. Maybe Leia can come in and talk to the team, kind of be that ghost coach, so to speak. But they need to lock it down and figure it out defensively, because that's where they're really being hurt right now. And it's just been a rough week. It's been an annoying week. Like I said, it's one thing when you lose and you're just like, yeah, they were the better team. It is what it is. But when you lose 2 matches where you feel like you just gave away goals and you made it easy for the teams that have really talented players, like that it's more annoying than anything.
I guess that'll lead to, somebody wrote this in the doc, and this is what I wanted to bring up too, is have teams just like learned to play against Renee's tactics better? Has she plateaued a bit? Does she need to switch it up? Or is it just like the team's not performing?
Well,
and her
I think
tactics
one,
fine?
again, like we talked about, first of all, okay, this is like a complex answer, because first of all, yes, Arsenal won a Champions League last year, but as I've said before, this was a team that is 2 to 3 years ahead of schedule in that aspect. I think Renee inherited a team that talent-wise, when you look at that roster compared to a City, compared to a Chelsea, they are not the same. Compared to an Olympique Lyonnais, like they are not the same rosters, right? Like this is an Arsenal team that took everybody playing at their absolute best to win that Champions League, right? And even in that run, they had to come back against Real Madrid. They had to come back against Lyonnais. They had to literally have the defensive game of their life from not just one player, but from Leia, from Katie McCabe, from Emily Fott. Like they had a defensive game of their life from all four players on top of Van Domselaar to beat Barcelona for that championship. So like this was a team coming into the season that we knew had to improve, and I don't think they improved enough. I think Olivia Smith was a great addition. I think Taylor Hines was a great addition, but they didn't really load up the way that you see some other teams load up, right? Like you had Jewel Brand out there up for grabs. You didn't get her. Could you have done better in rating some of these NWSL talent? Like we'll see. Like you never know what January brings, but this is a team that still needs to load up on talent before it can really be looked at as this is a title contender, this is a Champions League winning contender. So from that regard, again, like I think you just have to be honest about what Arsenal are. And then again, you're missing your best player, and not just your best player, but your leader. Like Leah Williamson is the leader of that team, point blank period. And when you talk about the team letting themselves down defensively, I think, maybe the results are the same, but I think with Leia in there, it doesn't look as bad. And I think with Leia in there, like those mistakes don't happen. I feel like, I talked about last year when Daphne was in goal as opposed to Manu in goal. Like the defense just played differently because they had that confidence in Daphne. And I think you're seeing it creep up again where it's like, as good as Katie Reed has been, she's still 19 years old. A 19-year-old going up against the best players on the planet. You know what I mean? And so I just think that there's a sense of like people feeling like they have to cover for her. Whereas I think when you get Leia in there, like that's Leia Williamson. She's going to handle her shit. Like she's got it. It's fine. We don't have to worry about her. So I think that that's part of it. I don't blame the tactics at all because, again, like I understand going into City the way you went into with the lineups, right? When you have one eye on Olympique Lyonnais, and we scored the first goal against Olympique Lyonnais. Like that showed, like it was the perfect tactical setup. But you can't blame Renee for Daphne Van Domselaar, you know what I'm saying, miskicking the ball half-effortly in the back and like Dumerne being right there. Like you can't blame Renee for your 19-year-old center back not getting enough on her head to clear it all the way out, and it falls to, again, Dumerne, who's one of the best players on this planet. So I'm not ready to blame Renee. I don't think there needs to be drastic changes in terms of tactics. I just think, like I said, Arsenal need to figure out what has gotten into them mentally, because this team had 9 goals to start the season. Even now, like we talked about earlier, goal differential in the WSL, even though they're not in the top 4, they have a +6 goal differential, which is among the better goal differentials, despite the fact that they've looked as bad as they have. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm not going to panic until this next stretch, because if we go into Chelsea and we've dropped more points out of these next 3 matches, then I'm going to be really worried. And I think then we can have a conversation of what is Renee's problem, if anything.
Fair enough. I think, some of it is just being like poor and unlucky. And
Olympique Lyonnais, right? Like I think they are the favorites to win the Champions League this year outside of Barcelona.
I mean, I think they are every year,
We'll talk about these next matches, but it's not like we got to play Veteranga, and it's not like we drew against FC20. A point is better than no points, but like, you know what I mean? Like this is the schedule that we've got. Like we've got these, like I said before,
Deeply, the way that you were so ready to just change the schedule, change the topic, you were like, let's talk about that.
I want to talk about Arsenal no more this week.
Let's talk about FC20.
Yes, let's talk about FC20. And so they hosted Chelsea. Sonia was like, oh, cupcake, 7 changes to the lineup. So we saw debut for I'm blanking on goalkeeper's name. I think it's Olivia Pang. Hold on here.
Yes, sir. You're correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we saw Peng in goal. Jean-Francois got to start as well in the midfield alongside Nushkin and Hamano. Alyssa Thompson got a first start in the Champions League. alongside Beaver Jones and Guru Wrighton, which I thought was an interesting front line. But yeah, it looks like again another 4-3-3, and I don't know. It just I think it's similar to the previous match in that Chelsea created chances. They definitely should have scored more in this one. There's like a number of players that, like Beaver Jones, like Hamano. We also had a debutante. Let's see, Chloe Sarwi, age 16, made her debut for Chelsea, at least or in the Champions League, and she actually had a really good chance as well. But yeah, according to I pulled up Football Reference because I was just curious. According to Football Reference, Chelsea had a 2.9 xG. That does feel a little high, but I do think it was at least two. Like I think that they created the chances, they just didn't finish. And I also note for in terms of the lineup. Um, Macario did not travel for this match because of tightness in her Achilles, I think is what was described. Um, and I do wonder if she would have made a difference in the goal scoring department. I know. Listen, I don't like hearing it any more than you. I actually do appreciate that Bon Pastore is proactive in kind of trying to protect the players. You know what I mean? It's like you have a deep squad, use it, right? And so she does that, and so that's part of the reason why. Like, I mean, listen, don't get me wrong, I'm highly annoyed with this result, but it's still like I still expect Chelsea to finish top four in the league phase, which I think is the most important thing. Top four gets you to the quarterfinals, and I think we would all agree that there are four teams that we expect to finish in the top four, which is Arsenal, Chelsea, Barcelona, and Lyon, like whatever order that is, right? So, um, but what I will say was a concern for me was Millie Bright. Like I thought she kind of had a nightmare of a match. There were a number of times where Ellie Carpenter was making interceptions and tackles where big center back Millie Bright should be. I actually thought Ellie Carpenter was like really good in this game because she was getting forward, she was getting on the, she was making crosses, she was creating chances, and also defending for her life, like playing even like I said, making interceptions at the
Because
center
she
back
had to
spot
be.
because she had like and the goal right in part of the reason why SC20's goal happens is because Ellie Carpenter is caught up field, right? Millie Bright is just food, really. Um, so ball, the attack comes down Chelsea's right side. Uh, you get the cutback across, and Millie Bright does her best statue impression.
It
And
was a really good ball, but from Jill Roord, I will say that.
it was, but it's just one of those things where like Millie Bride is facing up what was her name? Van Ginkel. Yeah. Danique Van Ginkel, excuse me. And Van Ginkel just kind of has the time and space to curl it around her. And I think it's one of those things where I think Millie Bride actually doesn't help her goalkeeper out. She kind of ends up shielding her a little bit, um but yeah, and so FC20 get on the board first. Really nice goal. Um and then about 8 minutes later, Chelsea get a penalty. Guru Wrighton is
No, it was Sandy Baltimore. We're like,
no. Guru Wrighton was stepped on for
oh,
the
got it.
for the penalty. But yes, Baltimore took it, which I did think was interesting. But I mean, she's been taking penalties since last season, and when I think about the squad now, I don't know who would pull rank over her. Like,
You wouldn't think that it would be Guru Wrighton?
no, because Guru Wrighton
No,
is like
I don't
not
think so either.
Gula Wrighton is like not even sure to be in the lineup. Like I think she's getting playing time now. I don't think that she's gonna like. I wasn't overly impressed with Guru. I mean, she did win the penalty, but I also think like there were a couple times where it's a through ball to her and she's not getting to it as quickly as you'd like. So then the angle isn't as good as it could be. And I just like it's just one of those things where it's like, especially at this age, I'm not sure what Guru does individually that makes her stand out. Like I feel like she's one of those who's like, she's a veteran, right? She can be the right place, right time. But I wouldn't play her over Thompson. I wouldn't play her over Kat. I wouldn't play her over Lauren James when she's healthy. And then Beaver Jones, I wouldn't play her over. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I'm actually like kind of really encouraged to see Baltimore being entrusted with taking penalties. Like I feel like her role within the squad is growing, even though
How is
she still plays.
Carpenter with penalties usually?
I
Also,
don't
I'm not
know.
gonna lie, you could tell I haven't been paying attention to Chelsea much this season because I completely forgot Ellie Carpenter played for you. Even though she's actually been like she's fit in and played well the couple of times
Defender
I have
taking
seen.
over
Yeah.
penalty responsibilities is actually crazy. Like I know some defenders can do it, but like that is.
Oh, do you want to transition to the next match? Because that's what we're going to talk about there too.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Go
But
ahead.
Okay,
one more
Baltimore,
point.
to be fair, is an attacker. But she's
Yeah.
just playing left back because Sonya
Yeah.
chooses terrorism. But
Facts.
yeah. But yeah, disappointing result. Please get healthy, Naomi. We still don't have a hard update on when she'll be back. Like it's just like she'll be back at some point soon, hopefully. So
Soon, hopefully. They keep saying that for God knows how long. All right, Tom, go on to the next match. United Valerenga.
United Valerenga. United did a great job of making sure that there was one thing that happened in this match that happened to make to their advantage. Jess Park played a ball into Zighiati. Zighiati played it off of a defender's hand, essentially, and got the handball in the box. Maya Letitia stepped up. That is center back. Maya Letitia took the penalty, and she buried it. Keeper for Valerenga had no chance. I was a little bit surprised that occurred at all. Jess Park did have a chance later in the match that she just shot directly at Valerenga's keeper on the break. I was just like, ooh, that's not great. I think we've talked about United enough at this point in the season. Like any team that is less talented than they are going to dispatch with. And Valerenga is a less talented team than they are. They dispatch that team. That's what you're supposed to do. I don't see them finish. They could maybe sniff 12, maybe. Like
I still think they finished top 12.
I
sniff 12. I think they could even do top 8 potentially.
Okay, like but what happens when one player for United gets injured? Like
we
already haven't seen. Like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see how they balance this schedule.
Yeah,
we already talked about.
They're missing some injured players too, though, right? That should be back soon. I thought one or two of their players were out. I thought that's part of the reason why they had.
I think they have the healthiest starting lineup right now in the WSL, outside of Arsenal. Sorry, if you're hearing fireworks, it's because it's October baseball and the Dodgers just won to advance. For those that don't know, I am in Los Angeles, and the Dodgers did pull off a win to advance into the championship series for their postseason baseball. So fireworks will be going off so often. I'm sorry in advance. We're almost done anyway.
Okay, United Women. Anyway, even if they do have a couple players coming back, they're still pretty tight, and like I think they don't have that much depth.
And their schedule remaining in the UWCL in the Champions League is still pretty tough. Like they still have PSG.
I'm very curious.
They still have Juventus looked really good in their opening match.
Dude, so, Atletico actually too.
Atletico, that's who they have next, and Atletico also
and that PSG match, that Mary Earps Derby is looking more and more winnable based off of
that one's looking fun.
Well, I mean, based off of how Wolfsburg just said, whoosh,
yeah.
Also, PSG. Did you see that Mary Earps error or kerfuffle, whatever it was, like last week, where she let a ball bounce over her and she was like falling to the side? Like, I don't think Mary Earps might be washed.
Oh no.
For the last 3 years she has, but anyway.
Well.
I was watching these highlights and I noticed Jess Park was popping up a lot. She was making a lot of progressive carries, a lot of entries, final third passes and entries into the box and all that. And my question is, why did y'all give her and cash for Grace Clinton? You gave up Jess Park and cash, bro.
I feel like as the weeks go on, that looks more and more like the biggest win for United because
Really?
Okay.
I
I
thought it
I,
was
I
a
don't I don't see. Here's the thing. Like what I see is I see that shot that Jess Park took that went right to Valoranga's keeper on the
Mhm.
break. Like that. It's the fact that the finishing product isn't there. And to me, like Clinton gives City more versatile. Like Clinton had to start on the wing because City has one healthy for real winger that's over the age of 20. So you start her, or like you have the ability to start her at winger, and she's just a bigger player. Like, and I think that like size matters. I don't know what else to tell you.
I mean, yeah, I think that trade was honestly a win for both teams. I think it's
oh, it
been
was
okay.
definitely like a win for both teams, but I think like Jess Park is making a more positive impact for United than Clinton has for City so far.
I
But
mean,
also like City have a bunch of
Maybe.
other players
I
that they
mean,
don't really
Right. I think
Tottenham
that's
might beg to differ.
fair. Um, anything else about this one?
Nope. I feel like outside of Chelsea drawing, it went pretty much as everyone had expected it to go. I feel like
It
I didn't
is like
necessarily expect Arsenal to lose to Lyon, but it's not
I
like
did. I mean,
that's
but
not a
again,
crazy
like
result.
lose the way we did. No.
Yeah.
Did I expect us? Did I expect us to lose? I'm not surprised that we lost. Right? Like I never like expect my team to lose, but I'm not surprised that we lost because again, Lyon were coming in. They were pissed off about last year. They have Dumernay. They had loaded up. They had Lily. Like they are very focused on making amends for that semifinal loss last season. So like again, I'm not totally shocked, but it was the way that we lost that makes me feel like we let one get away because I think at worst the draw was there.
Yeah.
it is a wild sentence to say that is factually true, that Man United is the only WSL team that got all 3 points on match day 1 of the league
Yes.
phase in UWCL competition. That is a crazy sentence.
That is a fact. Next week in the second match of the league, you kind of just touched on it, but Chelsea has Paris FC at home. Arsenal's away at Benfica, and United is away at Atletico Madrid.
And Paris FC, they choked away their match.
I think
Because
Atletico is going to
they
be
were up
United's
on.
helpful. I
They're
think that's
playing
what's going to be
well.
the real test for United in the Champions League is that Atletico match because that one they looked really good in their opener, and I think that they could absolutely dominate Man U. I think Chelsea should get by Paris. And like I said earlier, I think this is a very crucial stretch for Arsenal in terms of how their season's going to go.
Oh, that's right. It is. It's the Vilda-Borisa derby for them.
Yeah.
All they're doing is just playing their old.
Benfica looked decent
playing
too.
all
Like I
their
don't
old
want to disrespect
teams.
Benfica. Like they looked like they hung in with Juventus like as well as they could. They did get that early goal. But much like that Juventus match, like Arsenal should be able to dispatch them in the end.
So anyway, that is
But first we got to talk about
yeah.
the WSL matches.
That is Wednesday. It's Wednesday, Thursday next week, not Tuesday, Wednesday. I think because all the teams are playing Sunday this weekend, so they shifted it one day. All the WSL teams rather. But yeah, so I'll just quickly run through a couple news items, and then we'll talk about match day 6. News item similarly ish to Naomi Girma being hopefully soon back. Leah Williamson will also be hopefully soon back, expected by Christmas,
Before
which
Christmas, yes.
yeah is and says should be fully training November, December. To me, Christmas still seems far away, and so I'm just like, okay.
There's definitely
Great.
a lot of matches in there, but again,
Yeah, exactly. I think like, calendar, maybe not, but in terms of how many matches we have to play still without her, it seems like a lot.
I will say, just from a pure
Joe
seasonal
Montemurro
standpoint.
says, yeah.
So I say from a pure seasonal standpoint, people are going to start putting out the Christmas decorations. So just be ready for
Oh,
that.
they've started here.
Yeah.
Like in London, they've
Oh
been
my
putting
God.
them out like on whatever Oxford Street has like giant ones, so they're already up or starting to be put up.
I give Halloween the respect it deserves because I do like spooky season, but I say that saying that like one of my Halloween traditions is like on Halloween I'll just watch a bunch of scary movies, like B movie, not like super scary, like not really scary movies, but like the campy spooky movies. And then like I always end the marathon with Nightmare Before Christmas because after
Okay.
Halloween I'm shifting into Christmas. Point blank.
Wow, that's rude to Thanksgiving. I am like,
I love to
no
cook. I love Thanksgiving. I love food, but like I just keep it real.
Also, I don't know what I heard, but I thought you said you were like real scary movies, like B movie. I was like the B.
Oh no. Yeah, no, not the B. Listen, the B movie might be scary depending on who you are. Getting your girl took by a bee
I
is actually
mean,
wild.
maybe, yeah.
Could be nightmare to some. Could be a nightmare to some, but no, I mean like the B level, like the Attack of the Killer Clowns,
Yeah,
kind of like you know what I mean, like the really
I got you.
campy horror movies. But yeah,
B tier. It's like
yeah,
B.
yeah.
Okay, anyway, that was a sidetrack. Um, what is Joe saying about Mary? Joe Montemurro says Mary Fowler is to be back before the end of the year. So another one who's back by Christmas, perhaps.
I swear to God, they are fixing that lady with kangaroo piss and snake venom. I don't know
Yeah.
what the hell is going on, but like how, like the fact
I'm
that,
confused. Is
like,
Joe working at City?
no,
Did I
Joe
miss
works.
that
Joe's
cover?
he's the
Australian.
That's
Matilda's
right, the
manager.
Australian. Okay, I
Yeah.
was kind of like, because I was like, what is Joe doing giving an update on Mary Fowler? And I
Yeah.
was like, what is happening? What? I was so confused for a second.
But also, when is what the Asia Cup and like
March.
okay, I was gonna say, are they like just being real hopeful, but getting her
Maybe.
back just for that?
Maybe.
Which probably. Do you think she'll play for City before March? Like before
No,
the Asia Cup?
no, I do not. I I have a feeling that she is probably concentrating on getting like I I don't know if any of you all saw that uh Disney Plus thing on the Matildas
Oh
and
no, but I
with
do want to.
it's good. It's really good because it's
Yeah.
like it's the lead up to the World Cup, the 2023 World Cup
Home World
for the
Cup.
Matildas.
Mhm.
And they talk about when Ellie Carpenter shredded her knee, like when she was still playing for Lyon, and she was like doing them like as she was lying on the turf, having just ruptured her ACL, she was doing the math to make sure that she would still be healthy enough to play in the World Cup tournament. So
That's
I
bananas.
That's wild.
yes. um I just feel like that's kind of the vibe of the Matildas as a whole. So it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if, and this is like they were a huge favorite in the 2022 Asian Cup, and they didn't get I don't think they got to the quarters. So I
Ooh.
think yeah. So I think that their emphasis and the fact that they didn't necessarily place as high as they wanted to in the 2023 World Cup. I have a feeling that they probably want to do well in an international competition. So it wouldn't surprise me if Mary Fowler did like her Brazilian teammate did for her previous club. Is like, no, I'm hurt. I'm hurt, North Carolina Courage. I'm hurt, but I'm playing for Brazil. I'm putting on that Joga Bonita for sure. That is happening.
Oh,
She
why?
also just signed a contract extension
Yes.
through the end of next season because her contract was up at the end of this season.
And someone else who signed a contract extension was, how do you pronounce her first name? Is it Shoke?
Yeah, I've heard Shoke or people call her Sio.
Sia. Okay, because
Mhm.
yeah, I think the special way to pronounce the like OE is not actually, it's a different character actually. Anyway, Shukin Newskin signs a 1-year extension to the 2027 season. I guess maybe we'll start seeing more contract extensions soon. I don't know, like as the end of the year comes back through.
I would hope that there would be one on the table for one Khadijah Bunny Shaw from Manchester City. Please and thank you.
Come to Chicago, please and thank you. Okay. We'll go to match day 6 preview. I'm gonna ask you guys if we can just quick fire predictions on this. We don't need to go into super depth on previewing, also because it is quite late for me. And so we'll start with Aston Villa versus Leicester. Also, quick note, what you mentioned before we started, Tom, was that all these matches are being played at the quote unquote big stadiums, except for Chelsea versus Spurs, which is being played at Kings Meadow. I'll get to why when we get to that. You're about to. I'll get to why.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, it's a international break for the men's teams, and so those bigger stadiums are open for use. So yeah, Aston Villa Leicester is at Villa Park, 12 p.m. local time. Like I said, all of them are on Sunday. I'm gonna say 2-1 Villa.
You took my answer, DT. I'm gonna say 3-1 Villa.
3-1. All right. Trevor, Tom.
Go ahead, Trep.
I was just gonna say 3-1 Villa. I'm gonna keep it simple.
I'll say 3-0 Villa.
Okay, so we're all going Villa. Watch this also be the time that
Because they expect Leicester to draw.
Yeah,
Oh, that is what a draw is coming, baby.
We are all
we know a
on
draw
Villa.
is
Expect Leicester to
coming.
win or draw. Cool.
Okay, Chelsea Spurs, like I just mentioned, is at Kings Meadow, not at Stamford Bridge. You will never guess why.
Why is that, Deep D? Please,
You will
please,
never
please
guess
tell me
why. So
Tell me why.
So I had asked the guys, I was like, how many days between like matches do there need to be you typically on a field? Because what I learned earlier today, was that on Saturday at 3 p.m. local time, there's a Chelsea Legends versus Liverpool Legends match at Stamford Bridge. And for this reason, it seems, Chelsea women cannot play an important league match at the big stadium. They will be playing at Kings Meadow. Now, they might prefer to play at Kings Meadow, honestly, because they perform better at Kings Meadow. However, all the rest of the teams are playing at the big stadium, just and for a Legends match, that granted it was probably scheduled ages ago, and they're like, oh, this is the one time we can get them all together. It's on their schedule, whatever. But still, it's kind of sad that the women's team that's in the middle of a season doesn't take precedence over that.
50-year-old legends that played years ago.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And I think the saddest part about it for me is that Legends match will actually probably draw really well.
Oh, I'm sure.
Whereas,
They'll
they
probably draw more than a women's one at Stamford
That's
Bridge.
what I'm saying. Like the opening match at Stamford Bridge, like I think that was what I forget what the number was. But it was like 9 or 10,000, something like that. That was paltry, considering the Stamford Bridge seats 42. So yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. And but like you said just now, Chelsea doesn't do themselves favor. Chelsea women's fans, maybe don't do themselves any favors either, because they don't fill out the stadiums as well as some of the other ones do.
The Chelsea women's fans are not the problem. It's the rest of the Chelsea fan base who act like the women don't exist.
Oh, fair.
I think that's
which I don't get.
Chelsea fan,
I I'm sure there's a lot that goes into that, but I
I don't
I
think
am
much that goes
I'm
into it. I just think
disappointed.
people need to.
Well, as to why people don't come out, like,
Um,
we know how UK
okay.
football is.
Someone
Oh,
Uh,
I got this. The only other big club, like this is another measuring stick game for Spurs. And the only other
Yeah.
team that they've played in that big four is City, and they got shellacked 5-1 at home.
Yeah.
So they're going to Chelsea. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I got this match as a 5-1 Chelsea. Why shouldn't it be? Like if
All
you can
right.
do if you can do it against City, you should be able to do it against Chelsea.
I'm gonna say 4-2 Chelsea.
Oh. Trev.
I know I'm gonna be wrong on this, so this is like more hope than anything. I'm gonna say 2-2 draw.
Oh,
Believing
I
in
almost thought you were gonna go for
Spurs.
Spurs win, and
No,
I was
fuck
like,
no. I don't believe
that
in them
might
that
be
much. I
like,
don't believe in them that much. But I'm hoping Sonia does just enough terrorist ball and Tottenham do just enough to get to, like, I don't even really have faith in Tottenham getting two, but I feel like 2-2 draw.
yeah.
I feel like it could be a draw.
I think I'm gonna go. Maybe I'll say 4-3-1 or 4-1. I don't know if Chelsea can do what City did. Honestly, City at this point look stronger than Chelsea.
They just have a more potent attack, it feels like.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say I'll say 4-1. Won't go that different.
This will be where I make up points right here. Here we go.
There you go.
And Chelsea drop points for the league, which is a double win. But like I said, I'm probably going to be wrong. It's just more hope than anything. I'll take
Yeah.
it.
Next we have Everton versus United. This one is at Hill Dickinson Stadium, which is actually the newest stadium that they just built, which I'm kind of surprised about because I know like what's the old stadium called? I forget. But
Goodson.
Goodison Park.
Goodison Park, correct.
Yeah.
Thank you. That they like rebranded basically as being like the home for the women, and so it's interesting that they're like having them play at the new one. But it's cool. I like it. Um, okay, Trev, you start with predictions this time.
2-1 United.
2-1.
I have a two. Excuse me. I have a 1-1 draw. I think this is where we're going to start
Oh.
to see United's legs.
I wish we knew when Gago would be back because that would change my answer.
Yeah, I think I would
I
have
think
more faith in
I
the
think
draw.
Sorensen did say that she should be back this week.
For this one.
But
Okay.
even then, first match back off concussion, like
Yeah.
I mean, but that's. I think that's why I have it 1-1 because I think that she'll come off the bench and score.
Right. I'm gonna go with the United win. Oh, sorry, you said 2-1 United. I'm gonna say I think United score more. I'm gonna say I'll say 3-1 United. No, I don't think Everton scores. I'm gonna say 3-0 United.
That was gonna be mine originally, but I'm change it to 2-0.
2-0, okay. Oops. 2-0. I don't know. I also feel like being in the new stadium might throw Everton off a bit.
make your
Something
picks.
Yeah.
Stay with your picks.
That's how I gotta like stick to mine. Okay, then we have London City versus West Ham at Copperjacks Community Stadium. This one actually is kind of tough for me because London City got bailed out, but they've got chances, they just don't finish. Whereas West Ham, like they're coming off a
Don't
big.
get
We didn't talk
chances?
about Subway Cup, but they came off a good Subway Cup win.
I'll say 2-1 London City.
I'll say 1-0 London City.
I will say 3-1 London City.
And I'm going 3-0 London City.
3, no.
You know?
All right, and then Arsenal Brighton at the Emirates. This one's at 2:30 p.m. local time.
A nice little 6 a.m. match for me. I can sleep in a little bit. Honestly, I'll be up before watching the other matches.
I think it's 1-0 Arsenal. I think
really.
I think that Arsenal find a way to score.
Again, you got to remember no Michelle Adjumé, no Rosa Kafaji for Brighton.
Right. I think that like Arsenal will score, and that like just because we've seen how toothless Brighton's attack is, they won't be able to score. But I also think that Arsenal will struggle to score the goal that they do just because Ndozi is the goalkeeper that she is.
I'm going to say 4-1 Arsenal.
Okay.
Mark's going a lot closer than what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking kind of between. Trev, what are you saying?
As much as I hate to say this, I would not be surprised at all if this is a Manu game. Because like I said, I think Daphne just needs breathing space. But with that said, I don't think Brighton have anything in attack to really threaten her, thankfully. So I think it's going to end 3-1 Arsenal.
3-1. Oh gosh, this is hard. I think I'm also gonna go 4-1.
And I hate saying that because I'm with Tom. Like I love Ndozie as a goalkeeper, but I just think that, like I said before, like Arsenal just need a win in the worst way, and I expect them to be going full throttle for this one.
I agree. All right, and then finally we've got Liverpool versus City at Anfield.
Oh boy,
4:45 local time.
5-0 City.
5-0.
Yeah.
I got a tutty. So
damn, 7.
What? What? Oh wow. Okay, well then I don't feel so bad about my score.
What, 7-0, or is Liverpool gonna score? No.
No, we get the clean sheet.
Clean sheet. Okay.
Wow. Tidy. Damn.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of goals.
I'm gonna say 5-1 City.
5-1.
Let's just be Liverpool's first win.
I know this is gonna
be insane.
Win is kind of crazy, but nah, they're not great at Anfield. I don't think they'll get one. I'm gonna say, how many will City get? Let's do 4-0.
That's respectable.
4-0 City. All right. I think that's all of them.
Yep.
Do we have anything else to say?
I'm ready to just end this week. Let's start a new week.
It's good.
Turn the page.
I was just gonna say Happy Black History Month, UK.
Yeah, Happy Black History Month, UK.
Yes.
It's always interesting that their holidays are always like a lot different.
Like their
At
Mother's
least you guys
Day.
get an actual month, 31 days. How about that?
True.
We get 28 here in America. They gave us February here, which is
Every fourth year we get a treat when we get 21 days.
yeah. Because anyway, that's a whole different conversation for a whole new podcast.
Okay. Ending that Happy Black History Month to all yous in the UK. That's a wrap. Thanks for sticking with us this long. That was a lot to cover. But you can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, you know the deal, wherever you listen to your podcast. Hit that follow button to stay up to date, and leave a rating and a review if you can. Like you said, interact with us on BlueSky especially. We're always on there. We'd love to hear your feedback. Give us ideas for what the winner or loser has to do after prediction game.
Reward and punishment.
Yeah.
But made the punishment too harsh. I feel like I'm gonna lose. Fine.
There are 12 teams, 6 games, 4 hosts. You're listening.
Email us at the12sobn@gmail.com. send us your suggestion that way.